Hello, I'm so glad to see you here. I'm Judy Herman, author of Beyond Messy Relationships, and I'm also a psychotherapist and a speaker. I want to share with you 3 beginner skills in order to move you, that you need to move from chaos and into calm. There's 3 beginner skills that I want to share with you. Now, of course, this isn't a substitute for professional counseling services, just little tips that I think you're going to be able to walk away and have some help with, because we find ourselves in chaotic situations, don't we? With certain individuals, certain relationships, and certain circumstances come our way, and we go into that chaos mode. But we want to move into calm. Some of us have a whole lot of chaos, and they know what that feels like in their bodies, and that's their quote unquote normal. And then they don't even know what calm feels like. And so it's out of balance. What we need to do, of course, we're going to experience chaos at times in our lives, but how to move into a place of calm, not to be stuck in that, because every time that you have opportunities for growth, every time you have some kind of conflict, because you're a human being and you will, and there's no way that you can just avoid it. You'll have that internal conflict if you avoid it outwardly. But we want to move into a calm state and be able to go there, have those skills. So there's 3 things. Number 1, increase your feelings vocabulary. Yes. So many times I'll ask folks, well, what are you feeling? And they will tell me, instead of telling me what they feel, either they'll say, well, I don't know, I just feel good, or I feel bad. But a lot of times they'll start describing a situation instead of describing the feeling. So the feeling that we need to describe just doesn't require a that. You just say, I feel, and then whatever that feeling is. But if you say, I feel that, this and the other, then it's not a feeling, it's a statement. I think I've shared this before, but it's so very important. But we need to increase our vocabulary. There's a whole lot of other things that we can describe under good. I feel vibrant. I feel energetic. I feel at peace. Like vibrant and energetic and at peace or calm is still good, right? But the more that you can get specific with your feeling, the better. And if you can even describe what that feeling is, even like in a tangible way, that's even better yet. And I can share more about this later. But number 1 of the 3 beginner skills for moving from chaos and into calm is have a vocabulary for your feelings that you can verbalize. You can say, I feel angry or upset, rather than acting the anger or upset out. Okay. When you have vocabulary, you're able to explain it, you're able to verbalize it, and it helps move it, and it helps other people understand it, rather than just acting it out. Oh my goodness. What a huge acting out is the stonewalling. I see it all the time. Like they're mad internally, you just stonewall. You just cold shoulder. So we don't want to do that. We want to show up responsibly, and we want to verbalize our feelings. Number 2, increase your feelings vocabulary is number 1. Number 2 is identify your fears. Yes. Identify your fears. When somebody does get angry, anger is basically, it's a veneer. It's a veneer emotion. It's not a primary emotion. There's other drivers that's driving that anger. And it might be guilt or some other kind of deeper thing that's going on. But it's a fear, whether it's a perceived fear, whether it's a real fear, it's fear. Now, I think it was Zig Ziglar that said fear, there's an acronym for it that says false evidence appearing real. Okay. The reality is we don't have a saber-toothed tiger attacking us when our partner says something or we have this perceived fear, but the brain will tell you this is dangerous. You better run. You better fight. And that's what the brain doesn't know the difference. We need to take our deep breaths of air. I use that acronym in my book all the time and in my counseling. It's awareness and intentionality and risk. We've got to lean into that fear. I love it that Elizabeth Gilbert teaches folks how to deal with fear. You write a letter to fear. Dear fear, thanks for showing me up, for showing up. And I know you this is what you mean, but I've got this now. Anyway, when you write it out, when you verbalize it, when you have these ahas, you lean into it, and then it's not so scary. You never want to be stuck in your fear. Now, do you remember as a little kid doing things that you were fearful of, but you look back as an adult? Well, that wasn't a big deal. One of my fears as a kid was going to the neighborhood pool and being so scared to death to go off that high dive. Well, I go up every rung on it and I faced the fear. I went off it. You go up again and the fear is no longer there. Okay. So we need to lean in to our fears and get used to that. If we don't get used to conquering our fears, they're going to swallow us up. The illusion of fear, false evidence appearing real, is going to keep us stuck in our lives and keep us in chaos. So the third thing, first is increase your feelings vocabulary. Second, identify your fears. And third, investigate your follow-up. What I mean by this is you want to get out of reaction mode, staying stuck. You want to feel whatever it is you feel and let it flow. And then you also want to identify the fears so that we can, instead of acting like a reptile, the fight, flight, or freeze, we can access parts of our brain that helps us to flow and choose a conscious behavior. Okay. Now I'm going to just give you a couple tips too, because the best way to do this, you got to start paying attention to your body, listen to your body. If anxiety or panic is showing up or depression is showing up, it's there for a reason. Okay. But you need to take deep breaths. And what I do is I will sometimes sit by a lighted candle, just take deep breaths and I'll pray, I'll tune into my body. Lord, show me. And that's what we need to do. We have intricate, beautiful bodies and we have these messengers to our souls, our feelings, and we need to know what their messages are because something needs to change and we may not be conscious of what that is. So that really does help to move you from chaos to calm, but to allow you to feel it in your body. And there's a whole lot more I could say about that. But you're so worth it. That's what I wanted to share with you. If you've been in a difficult situation for a long time, it's time for you, isn't it, to take care of you because you are a gift to yourself, to the world, to your family. So it is so very vital that you invest in you because you're deeply loved and worthy, and your authentic self is so worth it. Thank you so much for joining me here. I'm Judy Herman. And if you're not in the local area, I want to encourage you, you can take the relationship stress quiz, you can buy or even download the first 3 chapters of my book, Beyond Messy Relationships. And you can download it for free, but I'd love for you to hop on and either order it where books are sold or from my website if you're in the US. And you have a United States address. So thank you so much for joining me because this journey from chaos to calm is so necessary and I appreciate you. Bye-bye.